Welcome back to the Positive Poetry Podcast, everybody. This is episode 6. I'm Andrew, and today we're going to talk a little bit about bullying and leadership. I've noticed that I bully myself for motivation. That's where the decision to talk about bullying came from. Here's a little tool that I found on the internet. Are you a bully? I'm just going to read them down, the acronym, and some were very informative. Being exclusive or leaving someone out on purpose, unkindly mimicking or mocking someone, lying or gossiping behind someone's back, laughing at or making fun of someone or the way they look or the way they act, yelling hateful things or verbally harassing someone, intimidating someone in order to make them afraid, not respecting someone or caring about the effects of their actions, getting violent or physically abusive with someone. Those are all versions and forms of bullying, and unfortunately I do a few of those to myself. Isn't that crazy? Like I say, it's a motivation style. Maybe you've heard of the idiom, the carrot and the stick. Right, where the carrot, you dangle a carrot in front of the horse, and that gets them to move forward, hopefully. And if that's not working, you're beating the shit out of it from behind with the stick. So you got this punishment and reward system going on. We did talk about that before, where humans we are naturally wired to avoid pain. As opposed to seeking pleasure, it's actually more of a priority for our natural state to avoid pain. So the stick is extremely motivating, and that's what I have adopted for myself. But I'm sick of it because I don't always make myself feel the best when I'm not getting the outcomes that I'm looking for. So I needed a change, and what was that change? To get out of bullying, I thought maybe the answer lied in leadership. The reason I went that direction, I'm sure, is because I've got a huge background in leadership. I went to college for a very long time, about 10 years of college, right? So that's your generals, but I did have time to specialize, and I specialized in a few things before dropping out entirely. So one of my main focuses and goals was earth science education. So science teaching. Then I also had joined in emerging leaders program, got that certificate, and I was a RA, a resident assistant. It's a hard thing to do for 2 years in a row. One of those, I got a community builder of the year. So out of everybody, all of the RAs on the campus of the university, my community was the best voted. So I'm good at communities, I'm good at leadership, and I can't wait to develop more about that. I'm not going to exhaustively cover it today. I just found an article that I really agreed with, but I really like leadership. If you have anything to share with me upon that, I am all ears. And I would like to jump into this article, though. You can click on the link in the description if you want to read it for yourself. But this one was the 4 fundamentals of leadership. Number 1, humility. Humility. Leadership isn't about the leader. It's about the led. A huge example for me is George Washington. Zig Ziglar, I believe. He tells a wonderful story about how George Washington is probably the greatest salesman in history. He had to convince a bunch of essentially convicts to sail across the ocean. And if they made it across the ocean, they were going to be creating a new world where there were unknown challenges and horrors. And on top of that, they would have to fight off the British with whatever resources they were able to come by in that new world. And then on top of that, he couldn't pay them anything or guarantee their safety. So, if that sounds like something for you, hop on the boat. We're starting a new country. Very crazy. I love the man. Awesome. And for Hugh, humble. He didn't want to be a king. That's what he just fought to release everybody from, right? I find that just amazing. So humility, focus on their concerns, live with their difficulties that they face. Moving forward, number 2 is communication. This is going to build trust. It improves your productivity. It ensures that the job is done right, and you're going to be listening as much as speaking. Have you ever been speaking with somebody who you can tell that they're just waiting to talk? You're just like, well, fuck my message entirely. In fact, fuck me entirely. I just never going to open my mouth again. That's obviously not the course of action for the long term, but that's how you feel, right? That's how I feel. Like, what the fuck am I even talking to you for? You're not even going to listen. So do they only talk about their problems? Do they ever give you a chance to speak? Are they actually listening to you? Or are you just an extension of their selves? Do they even need you for this conversation? If not, consider whether or not you want to be part of that conversation. All right, and you can be planning as much as delivering, personal moments as much as addressing the room. Communication seriously is key, and developing it is definitely worth your time if you are seeking to be a leader. Now, I just should mention, leading yourself is a skill. So that's where this is coming from for me, particularly. Number 3, trust is earned, period. And guess what? Communicating clearly develops it. How about that? Listening to others develops trust. Holy shit, you're kidding me. Setting and living up to clear expectations is another great way to earn trust. Now, this is a two-way road. If I don't trust someone completely, I can never expect that person to trust me. You can't trust who doesn't trust you, and it reduces the ability to do their best work. So if I'm not trusting myself, I'm reducing my ability to do my best work. If I'm not trusting my employee, I'm reducing that employee's ability to do the best work. Period. You got to be able to trust. And it's earned. Trust issues begin as an infant attachment. Do some DuckDuckGo, do some Google, see what that's about. I learned that in what was it? Educational psychology. Very interesting. I have issues trusting others, and I need to work on that, allowing myself to trust others. I had been assaulted in 2013, was it? Yeah, it was a terrible time. Anyway, mistaken identity. They chose my door in the middle of the night. Right? What's behind door number 12? It was me. So, yeah, random act of violence against me in the middle of the night. They were looking for somebody else in the building. They just did not choose the right door. So that has allowed me much strife and what have you, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, it made it so I can't really trust other people, or when I go someplace, I'm very aware of all the exits. It's different living this way, but I need to learn to trust others better. So that's a personal example for you. Number 4 is innovation. Avoiding complacency and stagnation this way. We're going to apply skills from outside our field. I love this idea, right? It feels very psychedelic to me, but picture Bob Ross using sort of music theory in a painting of his. Or something I guess I could be doing is using what I'm finding out in the gym to help me to be a better cook at the work. Or use what I find in hunter safety and allow me to be a better carpenter, or something like this, okay? Using skills outside the field to help your field. You can develop new thinking habits. I talked a little bit about cold showers in the morning, breathing techniques. I know a few. There's box breathing, okay? I know of the few. Okay, so just DuckDuckGo box breathing, or Google it if you must. Here's another breathing pattern. You can go doing that for about 5 minutes. Tony Robbins taught that one. So breathe in for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts in that choppy, weird sort of pizzicato style. It's going to change your state. Another one is doing this. Another Tony. If you do that for 5 minutes, you will change your state entirely. You will not feel the way you did before you started doing that. I guarantee it. So that's very effective sometimes. Exercise. If you go and do exercise, that will change your thinking. Drugs will change your thinking. Okay, so sometimes doctors will prescribe you something if you're in a bad way and you need some sort of temporary relief. I guess I'm not a huge proponent of using drugs as your long-term solution. I think effort and things like that, effort and education are definitely the way to go for that. But there's drugs. So, I mean, your drug dealer will probably, prescribe you whatever the fuck under the sun, right? That's what happens when drugs are illegal. Okay, so coming up next on our podcast, I'm going to talk about Ho'oponopono. It's a meditation style. It's awesome, but so if you want to try it right now today, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. We're saying that to ourselves in any particular order as we close our eyes and limit our external world, and we're breathing in and we're breathing out, and we're saying only those 4 things to ourselves, and we're healing ourselves and the world. Beautiful story. Can't wait to tell you more about it. And then I also created an acronym for myself, getting paid, right? So if we all want to learn how to get paid, problem solving, adaptation, innovation, and design, it's going to be a great thing. So keep up with me. Stay tuned. I'm very excited. Today I wrote a poem. I'm going to do it as a rap, though. Here's to hoping that the beat fits. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening, and have a wonderful day. If I were George Washington, you'd be my cherry tree. It just doesn't make any goddamn sense to me why we all don't agree to live in reality, instead of spending all our time and energy destroying ourselves to experience some weird pseudo-sympathy. Insanity. Like killing yourself for attention, suicide for redemption. Did I mention that poverty can be an addiction? And I don't know, maybe I got all these issues just because I miss you, but to be real true, I never even knew you. Like suicide is our end game, long day suicide, like we're better off if we died. I think we're better off if we tried to make love and life work, instead of being zombie rats feeding each other to the dirt. But who the fuck am I, right? Guess I'll just go get high, because I'm stuck between this rock and rolled up leaves that build my soul up. So if you want to spend time judging me, feel free. I'll be chopping down that cherry tree.